You are now listening to the Vitalize podcast. Hey yo, what up, family? Welcome back to the Vitalize podcast. You're here with your friendly neighborhood host, Mr. Marcus Black. And if you can't tell by the big old Kool-Aid smile on my face, I'm so excited to see you, be here with you in your presence, on your commute, on your run, on your jog. To the three of y'all that told me you like to listen to this to go to sleep, crazy people, shout out to you as well. Wherever you listening to this, I'm glad to be spending the next few moments of time with you. We're here for a good time, not for a long time, so we're going to get right to it, man. Listen, all of us have moments in life where we be going through it. When I say going through it, oh, Lord, we go through it. And when we go through it, it makes it difficult for us to find ways to cope. It makes it difficult for us to find ways to continue putting one foot in front of the other. We all have times where we just feel like we're being dragged through quicksand, like we're just sinking, or like with a hamster on the wheel, that we're doing a lot of stuff, doing stuff, but we're going nowhere fast. We're going real fast, but we ain't going nowhere. We're not getting anywhere. And so when we do these things, we find ourselves in this position where we're asking, like, okay, how do we change? How do we transition? How do we get out of this space and into the space we want to be, which is thriving, not just surviving, which is living, not just being alive, which is going and building the dreams that we have for ourselves. How do we get from here to there? Well, if that's you and you ever been in that place, or you got a friend in that place, or a loved one, you came to the right place today. I guarantee you, if you're new here, welcome. You're gonna leave better than you came. And so that's what we're gonna talk about today. Just wanna whet your appetite a little bit, but just before we get into it, I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate you. I want to say I thank you to all of you who've been sharing the message, all of you who've been sharing the podcast. I've been going on TikTok lives and hearing people say, oh my God, this is my favorite podcast ever. And I'm like, I just found it this year. And I'm like, dang, man, shout out to y'all dope people. Shout out to you, my friend. I got to shout out my friend Nicole right now. She been shouting it out crazy, telling everybody about the podcast. Listen, guys, I'll shout you out too. I'll shout anybody out. So all you got to do is just take your favorite part of this show and clip it. Take a little clip. You can have a voice. You don't even have to have a voice. You can just screenshot the episode and throw it up, and you can put it on your IG story, tag me in it, and then I'll reshare those. But I just want to thank y'all for helping me get the word out, man. It really means more to you know. I want to thank y'all for celebrating with your boy. We are officially 51 pounds down and counting. So it's up, and I'm grateful. But I really want to talk about this episode. I want to get into it. I just try to get the pleasantries out. If you're a first-time guest, no such thing as a second-time guest. Thank you for being a part of the community. You family now. You stuck with me, whether you like it or not. No, I'm kidding. You might not like it. I always tell people, if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. You can go have yourself a lovely cup of coffee, and that is okay with me. I'm not for everybody. I'm big energy, all love, all day, all positivity, inspiration, motivation, affirmation. So if that's for you, then I'm for you. But if I'm not, if it's too much, I understand. I ain't gonna tone it down, but I thank you for giving it a go. So, 'tis the season not to be jolly. 'Tis the season to duck and hide. Not stop, drop, and roll. Look, I went back to the kid. No, I just remember being a small kid in these like crazy tornado drills where we have to go in the hallway and be in the world's most uncomfortable position. Some of y'all who are newer and younger don't know what I'm talking about, because y'all got cool things like shelters at your schools, and you got like cool ways you sit down. But we used to have to literally go in the hallway and get down on our knees and take our head and place it on the ground with our hands over the back of our neck. It was the world's most uncomfortable position, and stay there. If there was ever a tornado. And I bring this up, some of y'all are like, oh Lord, tornadoes. Yeah, I live in Oklahoma. And if you don't know much about Oklahoma, we are smack dab in the middle of Tornado Alley. And some of y'all are like, Tornado Alley? I never heard such a thing. That's preposterous. To my people on the coast who don't know much that happens in what you consider the flyover states, yeah, we got these big things. There's a movie called Twister. Those things actually exist, and they are terrifying. And some of you are thinking, I know what you're thinking. Some of you are like, wait, what? that's real? And also, why do you live there? Listen, there's a lot of good things. For the couple of little things like that you have to deal with that just come with the territory, literally, there's a lot of good things, man. There's a lot of good people. There's a lot of good community. There's so many good things and good people. So obviously the good outweighs the bad. Listen, if y'all people listening to me, my LA family, my Arizona family, my Florida family, my New York family, I know the people that live in the most expensive places in the world to live. Yo, holla at your boy, because you can sell your house and then you can live for 5 years on that cost here because the cost of living is so much lower. So like I said, there's some big pros to being here. But one of the cons is the tornadoes. Lord have mercy. And we recently just experienced a day that literally by the grace of God was not as bad as it could have been, but it was forecasted to be catastrophic in the worst way because the conditions were so favorable for multiple monstrous violent tornadoes like the ones on that movie. Like, it was unheard of. Like, we do this 10 scale thing, and if you're in Oklahoma, you already know once we hit April till the end of May, you're gonna be in the season. Like, you got a little bit light that beginning of April, but once you hit mid to late April through late May, mid to late May, that stretch is, tis the season. And when all of my people are calling me each week now because they're seeing we have tornadoes like literally every other day, and they're like, oh my God, I couldn't imagine like being there. Are you okay? And my reply every time is like, man, 'tis the season. And like, oh, we're so sorry you were up till 3 a.m. watching the storms, because night storms are terrifying, and the storm chasers who are running them down, risking their lives to keep people safe, can't really see them because the tornado's inside of a rain wrap and it's dark. And it's like, yeah, that's terrifying. But thank you to those guys who also go and chase the storms to make sure you keep us safe. But this past one was crazy. So this scale that we have, this index of how threatening it is, how likely you are to have a crazy tornado come through and rip everything up. Average day during this season, we're probably at a 3. Almost on the sunny days, it's still like a 2 or a 3. And then when it gets bad, you see like a 6 or a 7. You're like, oh, dang. When you start seeing 6 or 7, you start preparing to get your shelter stuff in order, get your snacks, make sure you're good, make sure you're planned. Yeah, this time it was a 10. It was a 10 out of 10. I've been here since 2008. Somebody do the math. I don't know how many years that is. That's a lot of years. I could do it listen, I'm smart. I don't want to do it because it's not the point. The point is I've been here a long time and I've never seen that thing on a 10 scale the entire time I've been here till now. And we've had monstrous tornadoes come and tear up some stuff, and we weren't on a 10 scale when that happened. So that to say, it was really scary. And that entire evening, it was eerie. The conditions outside were just crazy. The wind was blowing like a maniac. The skies were dark. The rain was pelting. There was hail the size of golf balls and even some places baseballs, just causing sheer and utter havoc and ultimately creating fear in the hearts of my baby boys, in the heart of my wife, and even in my heart, because it's like, where do we go from here? What happens when you find yourself in that place? And to the 17 of y'all that I know right now is in the midst of going through something, I want you to listen to me clearly. I just painted a very real picture of a very real fear of a lot of people that live in this state. Matter of fact, I want to pause for the cause and just literally send my love, condolences to the people lost, and prayers to the town of Barnsdall, Oklahoma, that was pelted by an E14. That's the next to largest size tornado the night that we're talking about, and just utter destruction. So prayers to you guys and your family. That is devastating, but it created a lot of fear. It created a lot of just chaos, man, just terrifying. And some of y'all are listening to the sound of my voice right now, and you're in that place. You're terrified. You're terrified because you are in a storm. Because, you're not in a physical storm. Maybe you live you live in southern sunny California where it never rains. I don't know if it actually never rains. I think they just had some flooding. That's crazy. But I heard it in a song by a very popular group that it never rains in sunny southern California. So maybe you live there and you don't have these type of situations and these physical storms, but you have proverbial storms. And the proverbial storms are the relationships in your life that are deteriorating deteriorating and falling apart. Maybe the proverbial storms in your life is the job that is literally killing you and draining every ounce of life out of you. Maybe it's friendships that have gone awry and now you find yourself struggling and you're hurt because you had all the hope in the world and it's just not working. Maybe 3 of y'all put all of everything you have, your time, your talent, and your treasure into your dream, going for the big God-sized dream that you really wanted in your heart, and you went for it, and it ain't working out. And all you see is dollars going down the drain. All you see is time that you can never get back. All you see is the struggle of what could have been, and it didn't work out the way you wanted it to. That is the storm you are currently in. Well, listen, my friend, I hate that you find yourself in that place, but I want you to know the storms do not last always. And it doesn't make you feel better. That didn't make me feel better. These guys are saying, man, tomorrow will come. The sun will come out tomorrow. That don't help me at 11 p.m. when they're saying a new twister is forming and we're trying to get our eyes on it. We can't quite see it because it's dark. So yeah, me telling you the storm will pass isn't gonna make you feel better in this moment, but the hope is that it gives you hope to know that where you are is not where you're going to be, and this too will pass, my friend. This is an encouragement. You pick your head up. When I was thinking about the title of this episode and what I wanted to talk about, the question on the table was simply this. The question was, can you stand the rain? Can you stand the rain? And I heard that song growing up. Some of y'all was like, oh, snap, you felt it immediately. Some of y'all heard Johnny Gill's silky voice singing it real pretty. Some of y'all is Boys the Men fans, so you heard them singing it. But either way, you heard the song. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, go Google Can You Stand the Rain, and you're welcome to my musical people. But when I think about that song, I've listened to it millions and millions and millions of times. But it wasn't until recently that I actually had the revelation of like, yo, and they're talking about in a relationship, but I'm just thinking about in general. The words are so true. It's like whoever wrote that was wise beyond their years. But the thought on the table is this. Listen, sunny days, everybody loves them. But can you stand the rain? Storms will come, not may come, not could come. Storms will come. This we know is true. But can you stand the rain? And that's the question on the table today. The question on the table is, it's not about the storms. Listen, I've been through a lot of storms since I've been living in Oklahoma since 2008. I've probably been through, I wouldn't even say hundreds. I've probably been through thousands of storms since I've been living here, because it storms legit likely almost every other day during storm season. And I've seen some crazy ones, including one of the biggest ones in the history of Oklahoma. Like when this massive tornado crushed through more. So I've been through a lot of storms. Storms will come. This we know is true. And I just want to park there for a minute, because if you find yourself in a place right now where you're thinking, what did I do wrong? Where did I go left? Why is this happening to me? I did everything right. I try to be a good person. I'm fighting for my future. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my life. Why did I find myself in this place? What did I do wrong? And I'm here to tell you, you ain't do nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong because you're in the midst of a storm. Storms will come. This we know is true. It's not about the storm. Don't put the emphasis or the focus on the storm. The storm is sent to build. It's building resilience. It's growing. It's giving you the water to grow something inside of you that makes you better. So then what has to happen is you got to build that resilience to stand the rain. Can you stand the rain? And I'm here to tell you, if you questioning that, you can. You can stand the rain, because there's something that's inside of you that was given to you at birth when you were created that gives you a different level of resilience. The problem is we lose sight, we lose focus of the things that matter most. So there's things, you've been affirmed since the day that you were born. I know I believe one way, but we don't all believe the same way, and that's cool. I respect wherever you believe. Where my belief system falls is within the Christian faith. And within the Christian faith, there are truths, fundamental, foundational truths that are told about us from the time we're born, which is that literally a guy who knows the number of hairs on your head. That's, you know how crazy that is? You know how many hairs on your head? You don't know how many hairs on your head. I don't ever think it's that many hairs on my head until I go get a fresh chop, which I don't got right now, so I got this hat on, you know what I'm saying? But when I go get a fresh chop, I go and wash my hair after, and like I'm rubbing my hair and I'm brushing it, and I feel like a million little hairs fall. And I'm like, where was all that hidden up there? It's looking fresh, but it's just up there, little dead cut hairs. And I feel like I'll be seeing them everywhere. I was like eating some yogurt one day, and I saw a little one in my yogurt. I'm like, yo, how did that? Wait, I just washed my hair. How is that still? Anyway, you get the point. There's a lot of hairs up there, and you don't realize it till you realize it. And that to say a guy who even knows how many of those are on your head saw fit in everything happening in the world, everything happening on the planet, the chaos, the trauma, the drama, all the difficult things, saw fit to say the world was still missing something. It's not quite right. I know we got a lot of beautiful people, beautiful places, beautiful faces, but the world's missing something. And the thing that God saw that was missing from the equation to make the picture complete was you. And so then you were born into this world, a sin-filled world, a sick world, a dark world, a chaotic world, where everything is fighting for your attention. Everything is fighting for your heart. Everything is fighting to pull you away from the things that matter most. And that's where the problem lies. The storm is not the problem. You were born with significance. We got all these people out here in the world searching for significance, searching for something you ain't gonna never find. You just thirsty for somebody to see you. Hey, see me. Hey, see me. Hey, see me. The kids call pick me energy. Hey, I'm over here. Pick me. Pick me. What about me? What about me? Listen to me and listen to me clearly. You don't need another person to put a stamp on you. You were born with it. I keep saying the same thing. At what point are you going to get what I am saying? Your validation does not come from people. So stop putting yourself out there and making a fool of yourself just to get somebody else to see you and to think you're worth the time of day. It doesn't matter what they think because you were born valid. I seen a kid the other day. And a kid, I was speaking at the school, and kids said, oh my God, I just love your story. It really impacted me. Thank you for changing my life. Can I follow you on Instagram? I'm like, I post all positivity. Sure, go for it. M Black Speaks. They find me, and they're like, and I'm talking to them, and I'm like, yo. They said, ooh, he's verified, y'all, look. And I said, yeah, so are you. And you don't need a blue check mark to tell you that. And they said, oh, you're right. I said, yeah, I know I'm right. I know you're just saying that in a moment. I'm not checking you because you're wrong. I'm checking you because your mindset needs to shift. It is not a blue check mark that gives you validity in the world. Only thing that thing does is tell people that the fakes and the scammers and the people trying to take advantage of y'all, which, by the way, some of those profiles is popping up. I had 3 friends in the last week send me screenshots of somebody asking them to be a part of my super private. I don't have one of those. So if somebody's doing that, please don't give nobody no money because I didn't do that. The only thing the blue check mark does is tell you if you get a message from that, it's from me. It's not from nobody else. That's from me. So if you get that from any other account, that's not from me. So please tell your friends, that ain't me. I'm not asking you for no money. I don't do nothing with no crypto. But that thing has nothing to do with your sense of worth, your sense of self, your sense of value in the world. It doesn't matter. Because you were born valid. And so why is it that we feel like I got to do all of this stuff and I have to find somebody to love me? You can't do that. You don't need that external. There was a song that I heard by my brother Alexander Gonzalez shared it with me. I cannot remember the artist, but this man said, I learned to love myself for the first time in my life without needing someone else to say it to me. What? Whoa, what? Rewind. I learned to love myself without needing someone else to say it to me. if your sense of self-love and self-worth and the value you feel you bring to the earth is predicated upon another human being outside of you putting validity on you and validating, that's a dangerous place to be in, because your validation doesn't come from another human. You were born with it. You were born. So everybody's searching for significance. I want to be important. I want a stage. I get the messages from y'all all the time. I see you on stage. I see you in the magazines. I see you on the TV. I see it. That must be cool. It is cool. I'm not going to say that it's not, but I feel like I would feel so much better about my place in the world if I had that. Guess what? It was a time when I didn't have that, just a couple short years ago before I got it, and I was no less valid or valued then. Some of y'all been rocking with me for a very long time. Y'all been here since season 1 when I was scared and the energy wasn't like this because I wasn't comfortable in this setting with the microphone talking. I was so much more insecure. But the one thing I wasn't was questioning the worth and the value that I had and that I brought to the table. And the same value that I have today is the same value I had then. The season 6 people that's getting all the smoke ain't no different or no more blessed than the season 1 people who've been rocking from day one and getting these nuggets and these gems all along. My point is, you're questioning, can you stand the rain? And I'm telling you, you absolutely can, because you were born with a set of DNA, a strand of something that you can't even see that made you a warrior before you even entered the planet. You were born resilient before you even entered the planet. I remember, I'll never forget this. My baby boy was first born. We were young and we weren't newlyweds. We had been married a year, almost 2 years when he was born. So we were married like 2 years when he was born. And we did these things called newborn pictures. They say you get a newborn, you're supposed to take newborn pictures. Shout out to Susan Phillips. She's incredible. Oh my God, the girl was crazy with the camera, sick with it. But we met at her house. My brother, Grant Phillips, his family, thank y'all for having us in the home. We got there. She had the perfect setup. I mean, she had it laid out. She had multiple sets and scenes and lights, cameras, action for my beautiful baby boy, my pride and joy. And I remember we had this one scene where she propped him up on this little crate, couple feet off the floor, maybe 2.5, almost 3 feet off the floor. So not tall, but not by the ground. So, and we propped him up on it. We laid him right on the middle of it, all right, with this little blanket wrapped around him. It was the cutest thing. I got this picture. I might post it on my IG so y'all can see the picture. So I'm going to post a picture and put, if you know, you know. So some people be like, what is this? But those of you who listen to the podcast will know where that picture came from and why I posted. I ain't even going to give no explanation. I'm just going to say, if you know, you know. He was laying there on that little crate. And this little boy, MJ, little M Black Speaks, Marcus II, rolled his little wide head right off of that crate and fell directly on his head on the ground. When I tell you I have never seen panic like the panic of his mama, first of all, because a mama bear, y'all mama bears already know the panic of me. And the panic of Susan feeling so terrible, like that's never happened. She's been doing hundreds of these shoots and it's never happened. Yeah, because newborn babies don't roll. What? They can't even pick their head up. They just bobble. How he did that, I still don't know to this day. I don't know how he was able to do that. But in the moment of franticness and then that frenzy and the chaos that was happening, the fear as this baby screaming his head off, my brain went back to something the doctor said the day he was born. When they took him away from mama and they take him over and they're cutting the cord and they're wiping some of the fresh blood off, they were hanging this boy upside down, holding him by his foot. I'm like, bro, this not a doll. That's my kid. What are you doing? I want to tackle the doctor, but I'm also like, they do this every day. So I'm like, I don't know. They're stretching his arms and clapping in his face and yelling and popping him on the butt, and they're doing all of this stuff. And I'm like, why are you torturing my kid? Like, it just came out the womb into the world. That's got to be so traumatic. But they said kids are more resilient than you think. Their skull is not locked into place. It literally grows in pieces. And as they get older, it grows and hardens over time. Their bones are brittle. They're kind of flexible and bendy. So in the event that something like that happens, they are resilient. What am I saying? Why did I just tell you this real personal traumatic story? You were born with a resilience, even a physical, innately, like this physicality. You were born with this resilience. You're born with it. And you question if you can do hard things. You question if you can stand the rain. And I'm here to tell you, it's time for you to stop questioning, because you were born with a unique set of things that uniquely equip you for survival and success in this life. Survival and success in this life. Say that 3 times fast. You were born with it. And so I just want you to really hear me. Those of you who are watching me, I want you to look into my eyes. Look into my eyes and tell me what it is you see. When I stare into the pit of your soul and I remind you that you're better than you think you are. I remind you you're stronger than you think you are. When I remind you, you've been through hard things before in your life, and you want to know what? Every single thing you've ever been through, you came out on the other side, and this ain't gonna be no different. Whatever you face in this life, you're going to come out on the other side if you can stand the rain. And I'm telling you, you can. It's just a choice. So how do you do that? How do I actually withstand the rains of life pelting down on me? Well, it's the same way that we withstood the rain that night. The first thing is you have to have a plan of emergency. In the event that the storm gets too bad, I have an emergency plan to protect and keep my family safe. If things get too bad, you must have a plan. What is your plan? Who is your plan? Guess what? My plan was people. Shout out to the incredible people who said, yeah, you don't have a storm shelter in your house, so you can't burrow underground and make sure your family's safe, but we do, and we have enough room for your family. So how about you come over here in the event our sirens go off and the storm comes down your street? I want you to hear that the plan, your emergency plan, is always going to be people. Who are the people in your life who say, not on our watch, who say, you're not going to struggle that bad on our watch. We're not going, some struggle is a part of life, because I got this whole talk. Matter of fact, that might be the next episode. There's no strength apart from struggle. We'll come back to that. Struggle is a part of it. But if you start struggling too bad that it's like life-threatening or it becomes dangerous, you got to have people. Who is your community? Who are the people who care for you? Who are the people who pour into you? Who are the people that you could call in the middle of the night? That storm started on the western part of Oklahoma at like 3 p.m. and it was moving through the state, and that thing didn't wrap up in the metro till about 1:30, 2 a.m. So you're talking almost a 12-hour event. And when we called our friends at like midnight when the last round was coming to pelt the city, they were still awake and still ready for us to pull up. Who are the friends that you could call that's ready for you at midnight, in the midnight hour? Who are the people that you have that you can count on when things get real tough? Who is in your community? That is the first line of defense in helping you withstand the rain. After you have a plan, you got to stay calm. You have to stay calm. I'm not going to lie. When we were watching that report, we saw some scary things. We saw some massive wedges, the sky, Mother Nature going berserk. And that does not breathe comfort. Scary stuff. But you must remain calm in a state of a crisis, because you start making some irrational decisions, or you're going to cause yourself unnecessary stress that you didn't need to be under before it's time. As long as you have an emergency plan, now you just got to watch the storm, and they're going to tell you, things around you will tell you, there will be key indicators that it's time for emergency plan. Same thing with your life. Anytime that I used to have this situation when I was with Chase Bank, and they would tell me, and most banks have this, you can set it up. I've had this with 3 different banks where I had my direct deposit go in and they would just be fine. They would let me swiping away. That plastic card is one of the worst things that ever happened to humanity because you ain't got to see the dollars leave your pocket or your bank account. You can swipe all you want. And I used to swipe until finally, when I swiped that last time and that account dipped under $50, then I'm gonna get that nice notification to say, hey, just thought you should know, your account has below $50 now. And that was an indicator that was letting me know it might be time for a backup plan, for an emergency plan. They're going to alert me when things get to that point that it ain't no longer fun and games. The same thing happens in life. Life has a way of alerting you. And you know what that means. It's going to mean something different for everybody. But when it's a relationship, it's a toxic relationship. It's a toxic work environment. It is the storms of life pelting on you. It's the loss of a loved one. It is a divorce. It is, unfortunately, this is a reality we face, the loss of a child. It's like all of these different things that you could potentially be going through. Maybe it is sickness in your body, physical sickness and pain that you cannot get rid of. Your body's going to let you know. I remember, you guys know I've been on this weight loss journey and I was like fighting for my life and I literally fighting for my life. Shout out to Rumble Boxing OKC for welcoming your boy with open arms. And they did this thing called Rumble Radness. It really was called Rumble Madness, but they had to change it. Anyway, we tapped in and it was this competition to see who could work out the most in a couple of weeks. And I just really got back in the gym, but I'm a sucker for a good challenge. You want to challenge me? Let's go. I'm like Kendrick Lamar now. Ain't no big 3. It's just big me. And so I was going crazy. I literally was probably in the top 5 people on the leaderboard for most classes completed at the time this happened. And your boy's foot started aching in my last workout. It started aching real bad. And I'm like, I think it's okay. I'm going to just push through. I'm going to push through because I gotta win the challenge. Finished the challenge. Got done with that little daddy. I didn't finish the challenge. I got done with that class. The next day, I went back to class. I could not put no weight on my foot when I got out of bed, but I thought this might maybe it'll wake up. It'll warm up. So I put a little bit of biofreeze on it and I just slowly, gingerly moved around and I could eventually put a little bit of weight on it. And I said, you know what? I'm going for it. I went to that gym. I went one last class. I went crazy in that class. I burned 1,300 calories in that class. And you know what happened? As the day went on, it got worse and it got worse and it got worse and worse and worse and worse until your boy couldn't walk at all. And not only could I not walk for that day, I couldn't walk for the next 10 days. I could put no pressure on my foot. It was the most excruciating pain I've ever felt. And I don't know if you know this or not, but if you can walk, you do everything with your feet. So that's a horrible place to be hurt. But the point is, my body was trying to tell me and trying to tell me and trying to tell me, and I was hard-headed. I was not listening. I'm telling you that you ain't gonna have to question when it's time to tap into your emergency plan. When the storm has gotten too bad, you're going to know. There's gonna be signs. Don't ignore the signs. So what I want you to know as we get ready to depart from this place, but never from your presence, I want you to know this. You were born significant. Nothing can make you any more significant. I want you to know that it's an imperative for you on this journey to have a plan. Who's your community? Who you got rocking with you? That's what's going to help you stay in the rain. You know what else is going to help you stay in the rain? Staying calm in the midst of chaos. It's going to help you stay in the rain. And the last thing is having faith in your future. Having faith in your future. I believe I got a big future where I'm put on this planet to share, care, and support every human being I come into contact with. I believe I was put here to pour into you. I believe I was put here to make an impact on your mind and your heart and ultimately create the transformation that helps you live your best life. And it is the faith in that to know that when these storms do come, that storm is only going to be temporary because my assignment is not finished yet. It's not my time. I got more to do. And that is a faith that I have from the innermost parts of my being. And I'm challenging you to have the faith from the innermost parts of your being that you're put here on the planet for a reason. You're not just here taking up space. You're not just here existing, but you can stand the rain because you were created to withstand the rain, and because you were created resilient, and you were created significant, and you were created a giant, and you were created to go live your best life. So all I'm saying is simply this. Can you stand the rain? Yes, you can stand the rain. And I'm challenging you to lean in and ultimately have the faith in your future, to have the faith that this too shall pass. Just like today is a sunny day. Today is a beautiful day. Today, when I step outside, I don't have no fear because the storm came and the storm went. So if you're in the storm, it might be here now, but it's not going to last. The storm is going to go. So in the meantime, dig into your faith, dig into your belief, dig into the greatest part of yourself so that you can go and you can grow and you can build the life you love to live, and you go do it because you can.